Good day, folks. This is Derek from New York City. I would just like to comment on the current situation in Gaza. And as far as I understand it, the Gazans are on their own, definitely. The Gazans are totally on their own. There's no indication from their neighbors, the Arab Muslim countries, that they are coming to help them or coming to their aid. None. Despite all the promises, all the summits that they've had recently and the promises they've made and alliances, etc., it's all talk, empty talk. The Gazans are their own, and Hamas will be their protectors and defenders of the faith. Hamas initiated the fight, and they will be the ones that the Gazans have to expect and depend on to continue to the end until they win, hopefully. Israel will continue to bombard them and kill them by the hundreds and thousands every day, to destroy every infrastructure, humanitarian, governmental, or private homes. They intend to level that place to the ground. They intend to have a scorched earth by the time they are done. That is the promise that Bibi Netanyahu made and his generals. They are not going to stop. There is no one who can convince them or force them or reason with them. They are on a quest to totally destroy the Palestinians. And they are not targeting Hamas. They are targeting the Palestinian civilians, Hamas included. When they start to fire and drop bombs, those bombs will not or could not or cannot discriminate between a Hamas fighter or a civilian. Bombs cannot discriminate in that way. Even the so-called surgical strikes, a bomb explodes outwardly. When a bomb explodes, it scatters outwardly. Anything in the immediate vicinity is affected or destroyed or killed. That's how bombs operate. And that is what Israel is doing. She's going to be striking them and destroying them by land, air, and sea. Well, the land, it might be a bit sporadic because she's afraid to send her ground troops in fully or by full force, because Hamas operates on the ground. You know, Hamas fighters operate like guerrilla. They use guerrilla tactics. They come out from different points to the surface and they attack the enemy of opportunity in the immediate environment, and then they get back under and then emerge again at some point and strike where an opportunity presents itself. Because Hamas only got shoulder firing missile launchers and AK-47. They don't have planes and tanks or ships. So they got to use and make use of what they've got efficiently and effectively. So those are the tactics they use in guerrilla tactics. You emerge suddenly behind the enemy, you shoot them, you kill as many as you can, and you disappear. They call it a ghost-like attack. You turn yourself into literally a ghost, invisible to see for any length of time. You see me now, you don't. That's the fight. Now you see me, now you don't. You just hear me, you hear my gunfire, and then you don't. But by the time you look to see in the direction of the gunfire, there's no one there. Guerrilla tactics, and that too is a psychological thing. It can drive fear into an enemy, because you're not seeing where the enemy is directly, face to face. He emerges anytime, around you, beside you, behind you. You don't know. Anytime he can spring up, and that psychologically affects you. So that's the tactics Hamas has to use, because they don't have the volume of people, fighters, and the type of munitions to get to the surface and to face the enemy directly in any numbers. And it's working. Israel can destroy the surface and everything on top, even kill the population that they intend to do, in spite, because they can't get Hamas directly, so they kill anything in sight. For spite. I can't get the target I want, so I'm going to kill everything in sight. And plant evidence to show the world, yes, I'm fighting. I do. Put evidence, create evidence, and tell the world, yes, this is a Hamas fighter, these are Hamas fighters, we kill. You manufacture evidence to convince the world or to validate what you're doing. But you're not fooling anyone. You're not fooling anyone at all. You're fooling yourself, or you're kidding yourself, but no one is believing a thing you're saying. The world is too intelligent now to fall for that bullcrap, and smart. So we've seen that before, not only by you, but others have done it. So we are wise to these tricks that you do, or that military and terrorist groups engage in, and you are a terrorist occupier that wants all your land for yourself. You were placed there illegally and you became greedy. You're not satisfied with just the spot where you're put, but you want all. You wanted it all. So you kept taking and taking and taking. You never satisfied. So there's a time when the owners of the land will say, listen, you've had enough. Your insatiable appetite is no longer tolerated. It's time to stop. You're too greedy. Yes. So this will end in Hamas's and the Palestinians. Of course, Palestinians have to make a great sacrifice. But nothing important can be achieved without sacrifice. And this goes in every situation. Nothing can be achieved that is worthwhile achieving without sacrifice. And this goes that if you're studying for an exam, you got to make sacrifice. You got to sacrifice your recreational time to study the books, to hit the books. You got to satisfy. You got to use some more electricity at night or whenever you're studying so you can get the knowledge you need to pass the exam. So electricity will be involved, and the electric bill will also increase. Everything you want to achieve involves time. So if you're fighting a war, you got to expect there'll be lots of casualties and fatalities involved. And today's wars of this century does not only involve uniformed military combatants, no. Today's armies are not standing in line facing each other in uniform and firing at each other. Oh no. Today's armies are far away from each other, firing at each other from a distance. So if the civilians get killed, what the heck? They are in the firing line, so what the heck? That is the mentality. They'll tell you, oh no, we spare civilians, but that is just talk. If you're in the firing line, when the bombs come, or the bombs are dropped, if you are in the firing line or in the vicinity where the so-called enemy is, you will be killed also. And they'll say, oh, so what? These things happen in war. That's what they all say. Today they have a fancy word, they use collateral damage. I don't know why, how can you associate humans with collateral? I associate collateral with money. Buildings are buildings, humans are humans. Collateral, I consider that to be money. If you associate humans as collateral, as money, well then you have no regard or respect for humans at all, so they can be disposed of at will or at random. If you call humans collateral, it means that they are associated with, are valued in terms of money. So if you kill a million humans, you consider them $1 million, or I guess, just for example, $1 million lost during this particular onslaught. That is how I would interpret it. So it's just money that has been lost if you call humans collateral. Well, that is the mentality, the prevailing mentality I see globally happening in the media, among politicians, etc. They refer to humans killed or damaged or injured as collateral damage. Yeah, that is the immoral and unfeeling and unsympathetic category that they place humans in now. So Gazans, you are in your own, and I trust that you will keep the faith and you will unite regardless of the circumstances behind and around Hamas. Because they are the only ones there now to protect you, and they're going to be fighting until the end. They're not going to stop. They're not going to give up. It is not within Hamas's philosophy to give up. Because the philosophy postulates that Palestinians must eventually have their own state, a state called Palestine with Jerusalem as the capital, and the Palestinian state will be for Palestinians and all those who chose to live there, if they are prepared to abide by the laws of the state that will be created. And at the end of this conflict, eventually, a Palestinian state will emerge. And the Jewish Israel will no longer exist as we know it. That is how it will be. So it will be written, and so it will be done.